morning, guys. About 6 a.m. Yesterday's episode to be continued. And you can see why. It was freaking hot out and I was tired and it was late. So I called it quits for the day. But I gotta be honest with you guys. I made a mistake. And let me show you what I'm talking about. This is some of the fun stuff you learn when you're doing projects like this that nobody else has done. But it's par for the course. So, you guys see this solenoid that I have, right? The solenoid block. This solenoid is extreme heavy duty continuous duty rated. There is a plunger that sticks down and points directly at the pressure side of this setup, and then of course this goes to the reservoir, return to the reservoir. Well, after doing some testing yesterday, the compressor just wouldn't turn. I couldn't figure out why, because the steering was working great, bringing the RPMs up, and the compressor wouldn't turn at all. Well, I bagged it for the day, went in and did some research. Lo and behold, this hydraulic solenoid has a check valve in it, meaning that this will only flow one way, and the other way, if this plunger sees pressure, about 50 psi to be exact, it will open the check valve and flow through. So basically it was like I didn't even have a solenoid or a way to pressurize the air conditioning hydraulic side of the compressor. So this check valve has an 8 gallon per minute flow, which would override any type of pressure coming into this hydraulic motor on the AC compressor. So basically what I have to do this morning is flip this around. So I basically have to take this side and get it on the high pressure side. So I'll have to do some reconfiguring, maybe remount it in a different direction, but that's what we're up against this morning, so let's get started. Got that valve reversed, so the pressure side is on the correct side of the solenoid now. So I'm going to lower the cab down and we'll start this process up again and see if we can get some pressure going through the compressor and get it spinning. Well, it's definitely working now. got about a can and a half in there so far, so I got quite a bit to go, but you can hear the motor slow down a little bit every time the compressor kicks on, so it's definitely working. And inside the cab, it's already blowing out some cooler than normal air. You can see the temperature up there inside the cab is 50, and outside it's almost 60, 55 I guess you could say. So I'll just keep cranking in the refrigerant until this baby's full, and then I'll take it for a road test. Alright guys, everything on the system is working except hello Blu-ray. The pressure side of these fittings keeps leaking, so I went to Napa, my favorite store on the planet Earth, and for 14 bucks I picked this up. It'll do pressures up to 10,000 psi, and it's rated to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and is specifically made for hydraulic fittings. So we're gonna put this together and hopefully it never leaks again. Alright, got the Permatex on there. I'm gonna let it cure for a bit. These fittings should actually be male O-ring Boss fittings, and I ordered two, but they won't be here till Tuesday or Wednesday, so I will have to do this one more time and just eventually replace these because I don't want these leaking out in the field. But it's a 1-inch male O-ring Boss to 1/2-inch JIC. They're like $5, so I bought two of them on eBay, and I'll replace those or have them on hand. So once these start leaking, because I don't think this thread sealant is going to actually work very good, but we'll see. Who knows? I might get lucky. Gonna let that cure, and then we'll reinstall it. While I was waiting, I went through and redid these hoses a little bit. I'm not 100% certain on what the final outcome of these is going to be, but just looking to improve on it a bit. Well guys, I spent about 2 hours going through this and figuring out the hose setup that I like best, and I ended up using up a bunch of my fittings and just keeping everything real tight and close to the compressor. Silicone reinforced lines on the return side there, but they'll work out good. What I got left to do here is clean up Exxon Valdez. There's cherry syrup all over the place here, so I'm going to bust out the pressure washer. We're going to get this sprayed down and cleaned up, and then it's time for a test drive. Alright guys, I still got one fitting leaking. It's pretty obvious which one it is, and I'm just going to have to wait for those fittings to get here. It's a slight leak. It just kind of drips every so often, and not even that sealant I bought fixes it. So we'll have to wait to road test. Once I get those fittings, they should be here on Tuesday or Wednesday. Not a big deal. We can still test in the driveway here how efficient the air conditioning is. So let's do that. So I'm basically just going to start up the truck and sit here in the direct sunlight with it idling. And we'll take temperatures off of this. It's 88 degrees inside the cab right now. I'll come back and tell you how long it took. Made a pretty big leak when I turned the AC on, so I took the dang thing out again and went back to the old tried and true heavy-duty thread seal tape for water lines. Of course, we're going to use it in a hydraulic application. Oh boy, let me get this put back together. Alright, the fans are cycling on the rooftop. Condenser? I'm losing my mind. So the fans have been cycling. That's a good thing. There they go again. Yeah, buddy. The way this system's supposed to work. See where we're at in the cab here. Temperature is dropping quickly. It was 98 degrees in here about 3 minutes ago. I'm hoping that valve is not leaking again. Let's see if it's leaking. No leaks yet. Down to 84. I'm going to close the door here, just sit in the cab. Temperature is coming down pretty quick. I'll have to check the refrigerant level, but I think it's right where it's supposed to be. I can feel when the compressor kicks on, the AC charge gets really cold. That's normally how the air conditioners work. It's doing what it's supposed to do, so I'll come back when it balances out in the cab here. Well, that's definitely not good. I guess I gotta go find a steering box now. Well, that's just how it goes sometimes when you're doing research and development. Gotta learn from your mistakes. I'm a little bummed out, but I'm not defeated. I'll have to get a new steering box from somebody, and then we'll have to figure out a different way to get the system working. I'm thinking a tandem pump on the motor is probably the way to go for this system instead of running the hydraulics in series like that, because what I think happened is the compressor hit a spike, and the steering box is probably only rated for, you know, 1500 or 2000 psi, and it probably hit a pretty big spike and blew apart. I feel lucky that I didn't get killed, because that's a lot of force to blow a, you know, cast box apart like that. So if you guys like this episode, give me a thumbs up, hit like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See you later. Bye bye.